All right, here we are again, and it's about dawn. I'm going to go in and do front squats today, which is hard for me. I'm going to talk today about measurements. And I'm not authoritative on fitness, really, but I am authoritative on measurements, and in 1.8 seconds, I'll tell you all about it. So here's a story on measurements. When I was a youngster, I used to have to go into a giant factory with flashing lights and danger and take process measurements. And of course, nowadays they've got equipment to do that for me. But the point being, I learned a lot about measurements in that time. First thing is from the guy Deming, who is the patron saint of measurements. And he basically says you can't improve what you don't measure. What that means is if you want to make any kind of change in what you've got going on, if you have the improvement mentality, you should also have a measurement mentality. Second thing is there's no such thing as a perfect measurement. And here's what I mean. I've actually done a video previously on how junky my scale is. And also when it comes to those food labels that tell you how many calories there are in something, there's no way to tell whether that's accurate. And nobody knows what a portion size is. The point of all that is that even though those measurements are bad, you should take them anyway because they're consistent. If you have a choice of variable or consistent, you want to go for consistent every time. And the reason for that is that you know when something changes, either in a good way, that is to say you make some change in your system that causes some kind of improvement, or in a bad way, you're going along fine and you've noticed some change in your data, then you know that. And that's basically the point in accumulating that. Third thing is measurements come at a cost. And part of that cost is convenience. What I mean by that is, in this day and age, the easiest way to keep track of your steps is to have one of these. And the easiest way to keep track of your heart rate and a lot of that stuff comes right along with you. But you don't actually have to have that. This is just for convenience. The idea is also that you have to have a convenient way to capture the data and use it to manipulate it. And I have a little notebook and a lot of other means to do that, but that comes at a cost on my part. And hopefully you're willing to pay that cost to be able to go forward and get information about what's going on. Finally, the measurement is pretty useless unless you use it for decision making. And the only way to do that is to be able to analyze the data and see if that means anything. And if that means something, then you can either make a decision. One possible decision is to don't change, and then the other possible decision is to change to try to improve and get better. But the point on all this is that you can't do any of that unless you actually take measurements. And I'll let you make the determination on what measurements to take and when. Anyway, arm day, actually leg day, squat day. I'll be back later. Thanks for watching.